in the previous sessions, one of the class that was recursion. We share the screen for online students also. Aniket, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, third unit, we are going to start. In the third unit, it is basically classified into two different concepts. The first one is recursion. The second one is a type of a data structure called as a stack. Recursion already we have just briefly what actually recursion means. Okay. In first semester, you had the definition, understanding. In the this particular semester, data structure. Previous units I have gone through the recursion, what actually it means, and couple of simple programs we have taken. Right? Can anyone tell me what is recursion? A function calling itself. In other way, in other terms, now if a question comes, define recursion. If you just write a function calling itself is called recursion, then we can't give 2 marks for it. We can only give 1 mark for that. Right? Why I am taking this example? Because you had got a question in your first semester C programming. I don't know how many of you remember. In your C paper, there was a question for define recursion or what is recursion. Students have written only this one particular line, right? Where we have deducted 1 mark. Recursion is applicable to user-defined functions. Yes or no? User-defined functions means there comes 3 different blocks or statements. First one is what? Function prototype or function declaration. Second is function call statement. Third is the function definition, where the lines or the statements of that particular function is written, the actual content of that user-defined function. Recursion means whenever there is an user-defined function, there should be a function which should be calling that function, like main function. Always main function does that, it calls someone else. Once it calls someone else or some other function, now in its body, in its defined function, if there exists a statement called as function call statement, that function call, if it is calling or if it is invoking itself, then we call it to be a recursive functions. We have seen examples wherein we need to have certain conditions so that the recursion should not go or should not reach to an infinite looping. Infinite looping means since I am calling myself, it shouldn't happen that I call myself until continuously like that so that the system gets crashed. There should be a boundary that we need to stop this recursion, right? Now, some programs they have given as part of your syllabus, they have written here certain programs. The first one is binomial coefficient, Fibonacci, GCD, and Tower of Hanoi. Can someone please close the door and put the match? Okay. Now, out of these 4, what and all you are familiar with? GCD, are you familiar with? Okay. What about Fibonacci? Okay. Binomial coefficient. Recall your PUC mathematics. You can't recall what you taught in previous class, and you are asking to do. Binomial theorem, right? In binomial theorem, for every term you write a coefficient, that is binomial coefficient. How can we calculate the binomial coefficient? There is a particular formula that can be calculated using the simple functions also. That can also be done using the recursion. That concept we are doing a simple program on that. And there is something called as Tower of Hanoi. Have you heard it? It's interesting. You will see that at the last. Simplest one is GCD. GCD means greatest common divisor. So if you want to calculate a GCD, what are the things you require? Input two numbers, right? If there are two numbers, then you can calculate the GCD of those two numbers. For simplicity, we consider them to be a integer numbers, positive integer numbers. Okay. What is GCD of 5 and 10? 5 and 10. First number is 5 and second number is 10. What is greatest common divisor? So in order to understand, again, I need to go through the basics again here. How can we calculate a greatest common divisor? We need to first list out the divisor of both the numbers. What are the divisor of these both numbers? 5 is, okay, 5 is the first number. So divisor should be definitely less than that, right? Okay. 1 divides it. Yes. What about 2? No. 3, 4, 5. There should definitely two numbers we get as a divisors itself and a 1. Correct? What about this 10? 1, 2, 5, 10. Right? Now, for 5, 1 and 5 are the divisors, and for 10, 1, 2, 5, 10 are the divisors. You need to find out a number which should be greatest. Not only greatest, it should be there in both the lists. Which is that? Common are what? 1 and 5. Which is greatest? 5. So what is the greatest GCD of 5 and 10? 5. What about this one? 6 and 10. 2. Right? The greatest common divisor is 2. What about this? 3 and 13. 1. Why? Both the numbers are prime numbers. Both are prime numbers. If the numbers are prime, then GCD is 1. What is GCD? One. Okay, I got one answer. Next. Now there is something 0, right? That's what causing you to give the answer. Now, let's make it simple. I don't know something about 0. Let me calculate it later. First, focus upon 5. What are the divisors of 5? 1 and 5. Correct? Now, is 1 divisor of 0? Zero divided by 1. Zero divided by 1. Can I say 1 is a divisor of 0? Yes. I'm getting a finite number. I'm getting a finite number. 0 divided by 2. 0. Now, for 5, what are the divisors? 1 and 5. Which is greatest? 5. 0 divided by 5. 0. Now tell me what is GCD of 0 and 5? 5. GCD, if you want to calculate, if one number is 0, then the second number should not be 0. It should be greater than 0. Then the second number is GCD. I think this is been not taught to you in mathematics classes. Yes? Okay. Directly, I will move on to the program students here. Let us try to understand program. It's very much simple. Here, try to focus upon how the flow of execution takes place. Okay, now we have a function, user defined function called as GCD, and definitely it is a recursive function here. Why recursive function? This is okay. This is function prototype or function declaration. This is function call statement. Function call statement means from here the control will go to the function definition. It is calling now. I think you know some preliminary concept about user defined functions. Now here, in this case, the line number 5 is what it is called as function prototype. What it tells, a skeleton of the user defined function. Skeleton means 4 things. Name of the function. What is name of the function? GCD. Return value. That is before the name. What we have int means this function is going to return an integer value. Second is that. Third, parameters and its data types. How many parameters it is taking? 2 parameters. What are its types? Integer and integer. So this is the skeleton. That skeleton has to be maintained throughout the program. Throughout the program means 2 places. The first one is function call statement. Second one is function definition. Function definition means this line, that is header of the user defined function. All these things you have studied in your paper. Now look at the function call statement. 4 things. Name. Is it same as name? Return value. Return value is what? Integer. Means once this gets executed, it will call something, and that something will return some value. That value should be of what type? Integer type. So left hand side of this, there is an equal to sign. Left hand side of that, there is one variable. What should be the data type of this variable? Integer. Is it so? His result is of the type integer. Yes. Second part is done. Third and fourth. List of parameters. How many? 2. Third is done. Fourth one. Type of the parameters. First one should be int. Is it integer? Second one should be integer. Is it integer? So function call statement is matching with our prototype. Next, third block. Definition. Definition. Look for the header. Header means the first line. It should be almost similar to the prototype, but there is no semicolon. Name, correct. Return type, correct. Parameters or the arguments. Here we should explicitly mention data type with the variables. Here also it is matching with the prototype. Function prototype, function call, function definition. Okay. When we have a user defined function, then usually we call 2 terms. Calling function, call function. Calling means the function which is calling someone. Who is calling here? Main is calling. The function which is being called is called function. Which is being called here? Now, if you pay attention in the one of the statement of this particular function, okay. Now, here you get a statement. Return this. Look at here. What is this? Is it declaration? Is it a function prototype? Is it a function definition? Is it a function call? Is this a function call? Is it something looking similar as this? Is it a function call now? Yes. We said something that function calls itself, right? Now, within its body, there is a statement. What statement? Function call statement, which is calling itself. So when this statement is executed, it is calling itself. That means calling is also same, called is also same. That is the special treatment given to the recursive functions. Okay, now the code is very simple here. We need to calculate a GCD of two numbers. We are passing those two numbers A and B. It receives, it checks. Now, if B is equal to 0, then return value of A. The second number, if second number is 0, then A is nothing but A is nothing but GCD. Okay. Now, otherwise, you call once again GCD by altering the values of first and second term. How? First parameter will become B, second parameter will become A modulus. Now comes again one more concept, modulus operation. How to calculate modulus operations? If there are two numbers, say 8 and 5. 8 modulus 5 is what? 8 modulus 5. I got 3. Any other answer? How it is 3? Remainder, the final remainder. So 3 modulus 8. Hmm? 2. Is it 3? 8 multiplied by 0 plus 3 is equal to 3. Is it correct? 8 multiplied by 0 plus 3 is equal to 3. Is it correct? Okay. So this is remainder. Okay. Most of the time students will get confused when we give this type of questions. Fine. We will take some examples, not one, probably 3 or 4 examples. Then we will try to trace the program and understand how the recursion works there. Okay. Now, since there are online students, I will have to sit here and then try to draw some diagrams and then better explain. If I explain on the board, then probably they may not be able to understand it. Okay. Let me make it little simple for you. Now. Fine. Online students, are you able to see both the screens here? Left side, you have a code, and right side, I'm going to draw something on the MS Paint. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Name some two numbers, students. Can you name some two numbers? Whose GCD I'm going to calculate? Okay. Now, shall we take the same example, the one which we took earlier, 6 and 12? I will take two examples, 6 and 12. First number is 6, second number is 12. Okay. Now, just pay attention on the right hand side also the code. First time I will call the function. Okay. That time I am passing the values as 6 and 12. Okay. Now, so it is something like result is equal to GCD of 6, 12. This is happening from where? From the main function. Correct? Let me write here also as a main function. So I'm doing it from main function. Let me try to put some box also. Okay. So this is main function. In the main function, you have the values as 6 and 4. I'm calling the GCD. Once it is called, the control will go from line number 13 to line number 19, right? Okay, that means I get a function here. Let me write that also in this. Let me name it as GCD. Here I am receiving the values 6 and 12. I am receiving the values 6 and 12. What is the first line there? If b equal to 0. Okay. Now, is this condition true? False. So where it will go? Else part. In the else part, what we have? There is a return statement. Let me write as it is. Return GCD of b. What is b? 12, comma a modulus b. A is what? 6 modulus 12. Remainder is, if the first number is smaller and the second number is bigger, in case of modulus operation, the result is the smallest number, that is first number. So what is the result here? 6. Okay. Now, what actually this is? GCD of 12,6. It is a function call. Okay. Now, for the first time, what has happened? From first time, this has second. For the first time, the main has called this function. Where the shapes have gone. Main has called this function. Okay. Now in this GCD, there is one more function which is being called, which is that again GCD. So now this particular GCD is calling once again itself. That time the values are going to be what? GCD of 12,6. 12,6. Again this time the function will be called. Means here the function is going to be called once again. It will execute all these statements. What is the first statement again? B equal to 0. In this, what is b value? 6. Is it equal to 0? Is it equal to 0? No. It will go to the else part. In the else part, what we have the statement? Return GCD of b. What is b? 6, comma. A modulus b. A is 12. 12 modulus 6, 0. Okay. Now, what actually this is? Function call statement. Means once again I am calling GCD. I am calling once again myself. So once again this function is called for the next time. That time the values are going to be what? 6, 0. So the function is called once again. Okay. Now what is the first statement in the code? If b is equals to 0. Now in this case, what is b value? 0. So the if condition, is it true here? Yes. Okay. Since this if condition is true, which statement will get executed? A. Return A. That means the statement here, return A will be executed. What is the A value? 6. Now understand here. We were going in a forward direction where we kept on calling the functions. Once here, return function, I'm getting a constant value. I'm getting a constant value 6. Return 6 means what happens? 6 will be returned. Where? To the called function. Who called this? Who called this? This GCD 6, 0. Who called this? GCD 1, 6 called. That means when this return 6 happened, this 6 is being returned where? in place of this. In place of this. So now this will be replaced by what? 6. Now 6 comes. Okay, now think. This has gone. In place of this, what I have? 6. Then next, what is? Return 6. Now return 6 means I have to return some value to whom? The one who has called me. Who has called this? The 12 and 6. That is here. So 6 will be again returned in place of. Now this will get replaced with what? 6. Now again return 6. That 6 will be returned to whom? The one who called this. Who called? Me. At this place, this GCD 6, 12. Now it will be replaced with what? 6. That 6 will assign what? And if we print the result value, we are going to get the value as. Most of the time, what we do is that by tracing, we come up to here. When I say return 6, means the 6 will be returned to the main function. But actually, all these things will. We go in a downward or a forward direction until we reach the dead end. That is, the function will stop calling itself. Once it stops calling itself, it starts returning back the values to the function whom it has been called by. So it keep on returning the values until it reaches the main function. And in the main function, the value will get substituted and then it returns or it displays the values. Now, if I execute this program here, let's say go to the program and try to execute. (12:6). 1 second. There was a num lock, because of that it took a wrong values. 12 and 6. We get GCD as 6. Even if we change the values 6 and 12, what it is going to give us? Same result, right? If we execute one more time, 6 and 12, we get 6 values. Understood? So here the importance or learning what you need to have is how we trace the programs in case of there is a recursive functions. If you understand this, then the next programs related to the recursion, you will be able to understand. Sometime, what may happen is that in this, look at, there is only one function that is being called. There is only one function call. There might be a function call where we are going to call it 2 times. We will see an example in the Fibonacci numbers. In the Fibonacci numbers, we call twice. Okay, we will see that is little not complicated. It is easy to understand, but the tracing you need to understand it better. Okay, is this understood? You want me to take one more example and explain, or is it fine? I didn't get your response. Don't murmur in yourself. You want one more example? Yes? Okay. So that shall I do it through the on the board? Tell me the numbers. 3 and 14. 3 and 14 are the 2 numbers. Okay. Now, from main function first, I will call GCD of 3 and 14. So once I call, what will happen? It is going to call the GCD function. So here, GCD of 3 and 14. Now, is this B equal to 0? No. Then what I should do? Call once again. This time, it is going to be return GCD of what? B value, that is 14, comma 3 modulus 14. How much we get? Then what it will do? It will call once again. So this time it is going to be GCD of 14, comma 3. Okay. Now will call once again. Return. What is B value? 3. 3 comma A modulus 3. 14 modulus 3 is how much? 2. 3 4s are 12. So 14 minus 12, you get 2. Okay. Now let me shortenize the content here. Now once next time when I call 3 2, what will happen? Is B equal to 0? Is B equal to 0? No. So once again the function will be called return. What to return? 2 comma 3 modulus 2. What is 3 modulus 2? 1. Okay. We will call once again. Return. Now is because 1 is not equal to 0, B is not equal to 0, we will call once again 1 comma. Then next 2 modulus 1. 2 modulus 1. Yes, 2 modulus 1 is 0 because 1 2s are 2, you don't get any remainder, it becomes 0. Once again we will call that time return. Sorry, we will not call once again because B value is 0. Since it is 0, we return B. Sorry, A is what? 1. Now this 1 will get replaced by it keep on returning the value and finally here at this place we get 1 as 1. Is it 1? Is GCD is 1? Understood? Online students, is this program understood? Did you follow
Yes,
this
sir.
particular tracing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the next one. Have you come across with that in your mathematics? Binomial coefficient. So binomial coefficient can be calculated for an integer values pair. It is represented as actually Cn comma k. But mathematically we represent within a pair of bracket n and below k we write. And the formula is n factorial divided by k factorial multiplied by n minus k. I don't know how many of you studied in your mathematics. Now there are certain conditions. Conditions say that n should be greater than or equal to k should be greater than or equal to 0. That means at any point of a time, n cannot be less than 1. At any point of a time, n cannot be less than k. Both can be equal, both can be 0. But k value should be smaller, n value should be greater. It cannot happen that k is big and n is small. Okay. By looking at this particular formula, as we know, for the recursive functions, we need to have certain conditions that will stop calling the function again and again. Okay. By looking at this formula, what can we think of? For what type of values we have to stop calling the function? The hint is for what type of values we should stop calling the recursive functions. One value I will tell. If n is 0, if n is 0, there is something n minus k. If n is 0, definitely k should be 0. K cannot, or it can be less than that, right? It cannot be greater than value. So whenever n is 0, we should stop. If n is 0, what would be the coefficient? If n is 0, what would be the coefficient? Since it is a positive integer, if n is 0, definitely k is what? 0. So try to calculate the first n factorial and the below. Factorial of 0 is what? 1. N minus k, that is 0 minus 0 is 0 itself. So 0 factorial is again 1. 0 into again k factorial. K is what? 0. 0 factorial is again 1. So what we get value as 1. Whenever n value is 0, coefficient becomes 1. This is one factor. In the same way, k can also be 0. And whenever n becomes k, non-zero values, it can be any other positive numbers, but when n becomes k, then that time also we are going to return 1. So the terminal conditions for this particular formula is here. I will put the code for you. What are the conditions? Is it visible to the last benches? What are the conditions when we return 1? When n is 0, then n is 1. N is equal to k. K equal to 0. We have seen one example when n becomes 0. At the same time, when k becomes 0, then also the same thing holds good. When n becomes 1 and n becomes k, again we are going to return the 1. This is something mathematical, students. If you want to know more, I can explain it to you in one more class separately. Okay, but here try to understand that whenever we are calling the binomial function, now again this is a recursive function. Look at here, this statement. How many times we are calling? The line number 30, there is a return statement. Now, do you find any change in this one compared to the previous program? Yes. Do you find function calls there? How many? 2. Means first I call myself, then I'm calling 2 times once again. So the flow of execution completely changes here. I will not put much of concepts right now. I will take up this explanation tracing in the next class. But I will give you an home assignment. Home assignment is that understand, go through your PUC notes if you have with you, what is binomial coefficient? Why we have those conditions put there? Try to understand yourself. If you don't have notes, Google it, find it. What is binomial theorem? What is binomial coefficient? If you know some theory of that, then we will proceed further in tracing the program. Is that okay? Yes? Online students? Is that understood, students, what I said here? Take it as a home assignment and try to understand what a binomial theorem is and what we mean by binomial coefficient. And then we will discuss in the next class by tracing the program.